Good morning, friends. So, we were watching videos all through the night. How could it be possible to get up again in the morning properly at 5 o'clock or at Brahma Muhurta or at 4 o'clock or at a promised time of to be in time to create a video and then upload it on time? We are humans, right? In this process of learning, understanding, we want to elevate ourselves to such a height we want to become gods. One essential feature of essence, the secret, or you can say the sum and substance of Mudgal Puran, the Ganesh Gita, is the learning that is contained in the Ganesh Gita, which is in the last part 9 of Mudgal Puran. In that Mudgal Puran, which describes that all the first 8 parts, the incarnations taken by Ganesha for killing, for kill the this was for the gods and others. They prayed for killing these demons of the mind: Matsarasur, Mohasur, Krodhasur, Lobhasur, Ahankarasur, Kamasur, Mohasur. So these asuras are of the mind. And finally, these mental asuras, they surrendered. They were never killed because when the mind asuras, when they confronted the Parabrahma Paramatma Brahmanaspati Ganesha in front of them, the very luminosity, the very hugeness, the very impact of that incarnation was such that even though they were with various names, but the impact was the same. And in that impact, they realized their limitedness, their smallness, their incapacity, and a certain reverence arose towards that person, that incarnation that was standing in front of them. And so they surrendered. And Ganesha has told that anyone who surrenders, to me and decides to obey my instructions, then I will not harm them. That is why, even though all these asuras over different yugas, Kruta Yuga, somewhere of Kruta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, all of these asuras they in different percentages, they are still there and they occupy our minds in smaller proportions. We still have greed, we still have hunger, we still have lust for certain things, and we still get attracted, means carried away. We still have greed, we still have jealousy, we have all these qualities, but in subdued forms. The time when we maintain these in that limited, just for the purpose of learning or for the purpose of use at that point of time. Now, anger is considered very bad. But supposing a teacher, when she gets angry, a teacher, a father, or a mother, when they get angry on the child and they beat you, then the child never retorts or goes back. It accepts that anger is for a certain reason. It may be because I have done something wrong, or I need to be corrected in a certain way. So that anger is considered legitimate. Even today, a certain amount of anger, if it is not expressed, it will not be impactful. But if done with the proper consciousness that you are getting angry or you are raising your voice for a certain reason, for the person, for it to be registered on the person receiving it. For example, yesterday, again the argument came on my credit card, on Axis Bank credit card, where an EMI was charged to my account, but into the main credit card, after I had cleared the entire EMIs on the which was getting accumulated in another credit card which I never use normally. So after clearing that, how come another EMI was debited on 26th July after the credit card bill was generated? So again, I had to contact the bank. And they said, no, we will tell you. And she put me on hold and she said, no, don't worry. We will tell you to your conviction that we are right. Okay. So then I got annoyed with her and I said, you shut up. Listen to what I am saying. And then she was not able, again she said, okay, may I put you on, very sweetly, may I put you on hold, madam? And then she went. I disconnected. And then I contacted the branch. The branch never picked up for almost 3 hours. And that was the time I was able to listen to the entire parliamentary session. And then again, when I contacted the credit card division, I said, let me contact again. And then some other guy came up. And then to him, I had to explain again what was happening. And he had to literally go back to 2-3 years back and then why that was EMI was getting debited. And he also kept frequently coming back and contacting me and saying that we are this is what it was. And then I clarified, no, this was of May 2025 and how it which installment. So one by one the thread was getting loosened, and in that process he had to consult 3 other of his staff. And then until he was sure, he didn't come back to me. So this whole process was nearly about a good half an hour or more. A learning process was going on of me understanding their system and then their conclusion that all EMIs were nullified. That is, they had completely means the pre-closure of all EMIs was done. Was what was conveyed to me. So I had the impression now I had no more EMIs to pay. But then there were 2 EMIs which was being debited on this credit card itself. Then what were those EMIs which were getting charged on that? And that I have fully paid. Now that is another discovery. So another exploration that needs to be done. If some other, then they assured me that nobody else's EMIs can come, can be converted into EMIs in my until it is your own, until the spending on that particular credit card itself. So accepted, and I said, okay, fine, that explanation is good enough, and it concluded there. So when raising a voice in anger helps in me understanding and they understanding what I am trying to tell. And then in the process, what they said was, madam, I also told them I went to Thane and all and I had to come. Oh, madam, you're so old. You should not exert yourself. You should, we would sort it out on the telephone itself. Don't worry. You don't have to go here and there. And, that put me in my place. So, here, when you are elevating yourself, you may have to resort to these low-level emotions deliberately, consciously, and with so much of effort. Towards the end of the day, I was panting for breath. Because I had realized that in the process of all these practices, yogic practices, there were periods where for prolonged periods of time, I was not breathing. I was just sustaining. I was able to continue existing without even breathing. And that consciousness came towards the end of the day, around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, when I realized I was not breathing. And then I had to inhale hot water, steam, and that bhap, what we did for Corona ka time. And then my lungs was activated actually. So we must realize that when Ganesha takes incarnations, he had subdued all of them. He had said, okay, Asura level negative mindset is bad. And so I'm not killing you. Means they had taken an embodiment. Imagine a person who becomes so arrogant in his body that it is becomes a whole nation to be unsustainable for confronting him. The whole nation is captured in fear, in terror, that how could even their voice, they had lost their voice to even express. And these are not just simple ordinary people, but they are even stalwarts, even experts in their own field, are unable to say anything, and bearing the injustice, bearing the atrocities, bearing everything, until it reached their children, when they were beaten up mercilessly by a system that was designed by us for taking care of us. When it had reached that extreme situation, everyone woke up. The whole nation woke up. And then they put that person into his place. So then Ganesha, after when that Asura surrenders to Ganesha, Ganesha says, okay, now that you have surrendered to me, listen to what I have to say. And then they sing the praise. Oh, forgive me, you are great, you are this, you are that, and all they sing the praise. And then Ganesha says, listen what I have to say. Now he realized that now that Asura is at a foot, he has no place to go. So the Asura asks, all the Asuras, okay, in all the 8 incarnations, this is the same story. They ask, please give me a place to stay, please give me a livelihood, please give me food to eat, and tell me what are my limitations, how I can earn my food, daily life, my sustenance. So Ganesha says, I am giving you Patal Loka to stay. Gods are for, the heaven is for gods. For the human beings, I have given the earth to stay. And only what you can do is, only you cannot touch anyone who are my devotees, who are devoted to me, that is, who surrender all their karmas or the fruits of the actions, doing good actions, doing their dharma, doing what is right to be done, fulfilling their duties, means who are following their varnashrama dharma. Varnashrama dharma means it is not according to color or according to where, it is according to your capacity, according to your skill and capacity, according to the development of your gunas. Sattva guna, purity, righteousness, those things, means knowledge. So Rajas is activity, action oriented, like who are doing mechanical work or construction work, who are more skilled at using their hands and legs and their body. And then the Vaishyas, the business people, who are able to trade, who are able to reach one thing to another, from where it is needed to where it is produced, and from where it is produced to where it is needed, required, all these kind of things. Then the Shudras, the service people, who can do service, who will do selfless service, means who will be of service. That is, they have a service-oriented approach to whoever they are, irrespective of how they are treated or how they are, whether they are giving the remuneration. I have known of people who are the bodyguards who are given crores of rupees. And there are also security guards who are given just hundreds of rupees, but who are more loyal than them. Or equally loyal, or who do that service with that equal sense of commitment, or equal sense, they will die for their master. So this is according to the gunas. Varnashrama dharma means it is not according to the color of the skin or according to the caste or creed or where you are born and things like that. It is according to the quality that is coming out of you. You may be born in a very poor community, like the Kabir was born in a weaver's community, where from the cotton, the thread was created by where that cotton was beaten up and with that particular instrument. He was a poet, which was a sattva guna. So according to the guna, you will be doing your work. So your dharma, that will determine your dharma. So if you follow your dharma, varnashrama dharma, then so Ganesha told these asuras, so anyone who's following their varnashrama dharma, you are not to touch them, because they are under my protection. But if anybody does not follow their varnashrama dharma, who are doing the wrong things, means killing people or harming the people who are good or harming those who are doing the varnashrama dharma, and who are those who do not pray to me or do not have any sense of worship towards me, who are not my devotees, then whatever actions they do, the fruits of those actions, you take that benefit, means that fruits of those the merits that which such people would earn, that merits will be going to this asura. So each of these asuras were getting the food by these people who are doing non-righteous things, who do against their varnashrama dharma, who do not follow their varnashrama dharma, who are not righteous, who are violent, and who are all these things. So this was the way Ganesha incarnated, and he set right the understanding, and he said, the people on the earth are human beings, and they will be following their varnashrama dharma. And then of course the Ganesh Gita lists out all further details of behavior, code of conduct, how we should behave, all that is there. But then all this was the original document. This has been interpreted, mutilated, fabricated, and all kind of different interpretations, and had been changed according to suit the whims and fancies of the people who are ruling, who are in power, and who are in authority. And then they have created fresh rules of conduct, and which everybody obeys. And then when such a chaotic situation at such a gigantic level takes place, at a monumental level takes place, then there is a reset. A force comes to reset the whole thing. So that is this what was the secret, the real crux of this whole of Ganesh Gita's instructions. Now coming to yesterday, I think it was around 2:00 when that video just came up like that, and I was not able to switch it off. And the moment it started, you have come in the right place, and you are at the right time, and this has not come out of any algorithm. It has come because you are supposed to be here. Is that the way these videos start? So when you start like that, you have captured a little, maybe 10% of your attention, and then they reinforce it with something more. And imagine, most of the videos are about 40-50 minutes long, which itself I listened to all of them till the end. But this was 1 hour 58 minutes long. So when it is that long, but still I listened, and little by little he was sorting out. Okay, then I said, okay, this was not the first time I was listening to this particular channel, for the third time, second or the third time. The first 2 times I couldn't last that long, so I switched it off in between. So when it came for the third time, I said, okay, there may be something why it is drawing my attention for the third time. Let me listen to it. So I listened to the whole thing, and then many points came out. So in that response to that video, I had commented that I will answer to many of the points that has come up in this tomorrow morning in 4 hours time from now. And then after finishing that 1 hour 58 minutes, by that time I could come out and switch off, another video came up. Another video, you are in the right time, this is the right place that you are in, you are supposed to hear it just now, it is not according to algorithm, it is. So I went into 10-12 minutes, and I became unconscious, and I said, no, this is not algorithm, this is nonsense, this is AI generated. And right enough, just 3 hours before, I had 2 hours before that other video, I had received an email or some pop-up thing came up on my screen, whether it was for Instagram or I don't know where, but that information came. We will assist you. We have devised an excellent platform for being able to produce videos just like that at the snap of a finger. And we have specifically adopted 5 AI programs, Claude and some kind of where your voice will be modulated according to the way you require, according to your fine tuning. Then the words will describe the particular mood and terminology, the words that you have to use. Then they said that the video also will be there, and you don't have to be there. It will, you can put any photo there, anybody's photo there, and you can and a video will be so live and as though you are talking. And then you can sit back and relax. You can go to sleep. We will do all the rest. And these videos are produced by AI generated platform. And all you have to do is give a subject. And the subject matter also will be created by that AI machine. And it will produce YouTube videos just like that in a few minutes, immediately it will produce in a few minutes maybe. And it can be uploaded, automatically uploaded also, released. And that way your productivity will be increased. You can produce any number of videos as you want according to the subjects that you keep giving the machine, because the machine don't get tired. And so you have a whole stream of videos coming one after the other. You can determine whether it should be 1 hour 58 minutes. You can determine whether it should be 1 hour 28 minutes. You can determine whether it should be 58 minutes and whether anyone listens or not. You expect them to listen because you are giving stuff. You may be giving stuff, and in that process, you may have really lost the stuff which need to really reach that person. Natural time doesn't flow like that. We have speeded up our momentum. Even YouTube, even use of AI, just because it is capable, it's a useful tool. Remember, we use the hammer only to hammer the nail when we have to put the nail on the wall. We don't keep hammering nails all over in all walls just because that hammer is available. Remember one story? There was a wall. The father had given that son the job of just hammering nails because that boy used to get angry so much. He was not, everybody was fed up, was not able to handle that boy. And so he said, now you hammer all the, keep hammering. Every time you feel like that, no, you have to hammer. One ball was given and he kept hammering all the nails. After some time, when this boy realized where he was going wrong, now the father says, now remove each of those nails that you have hammered. So this boy was removing one by one the nail. When that last nail was left, he looked at the wall. Can you imagine that wall? Scarred, full of holes. Mess. The story I had read in one of the self-help books. So, we need to be moderate in everything we do, even in spirituality, unless we stop to reflect. That is why we don't read the whole Quran in one day. We take a few stanzas. Even while translating, I had just taken 3 pages at a time. I didn't even want to have the full book in front of me because that was scary. I used to only pick 3 pages and I said, I will do this 3 pages fully and only I will get up. I used to sit up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then I used to finish those 3 pages and then I used to get up, have breakfast and everything. And then when I felt relaxed, when I felt that because I had retired, I didn't have anything else to do. So I would come back and take another 2 pages and do more pages according to my capacity. If I didn't have to, if I didn't get a vision that I should go to Morgaon, or I should go to Pali, I should go to this particular temple at this a place to find out what is there, what is that, what was the experience of the king in that, when he had visited that place. So if when such intuitively I was guided to go here or there, when the time was not taken away due to such travel visits and other things, then I would sit and continue. So that was how what I thought I would not finish in one lifetime, I finished in 9.5 months. Almost the time taken for a child to be delivered. So there are many such intricate lessons which were needed to be conveyed. So this is just the beginning that I gave you about how please do not come into such platforms with the eagerness to deliver more YouTube just on the basis of one pithy sentence that captured your attention. Just because one statement contains so much of meaning that you are unable to express that whatever emotions, whatever thoughts, whatever came into you, or whatever incidents that you could relate to. So you put that statement and you tell that platform, generate 5,000 letter video content for along with voice, video and everything, and then you put it. It does not contain what actually went on in your mind, what all incidents that you had to refer, or what all flashes that you had when you read that statement, nor the emotions that you went through. On the other hand, that AI platform will pick up what the junk that you have fed into that system. Junk or good things. Whatever was fed into that stratum or what into that system from that database, which would be the thoughts of somebody else or some other books written some at different points of time based on their experiences. It is not your first-hand experience, it is somebody else's experience. Forget about copyright issues. That's a different subject. You have no control. What gets generated is what you have put in there. So, when something from within you is revealing it's yourself, if you are not able to express it in its originality, it loses its flavor. That is why, and every revelation is its original. There is no copy for it, or it has no copy prior to it, because that would be at a previous point of time. See, in your videos, you only say that you are not sitting at that table, that you are not the same person now, but you are that person whose reference point, which occurred in that person's reference point. I mean, that was a different person altogether. That person is no more existing. So you are at a different table. You are bringing to the table a different set of values. Then, so it has to be a fresh discussion. It cannot be AI generated. Sorry, folks, for those who are making a livelihood on that. But if you want to convey what you want to convey, in spite of you may follow all the demographics that they fix for controlling your audience, for who will access your viewership, and all those things that they ask, age group and which area, locality, and all of that. There is still the possibility that the person who has to listen will miss it. So everything has to be an original. So when we go to the museum to see what we keep in the museum, we don't keep duplicates there. We keep only the originals. That is why they fetch that value. Somebody was saying, on the other hand, since 38 years, Australia is having plastic money. Like yesterday, I think 2 days back, our Reserve Bank of India has taken a decision to introduce plastic money. So, means that person who was conveying the news, he said that I know that it is long lasting, it is durable, it is good, it is easy to handle, it is all of that. So many advantages are there in using plastic money. So that money has reduced to plastic, and plastic which we throw away, which we discard, which is irrecyclable, I mean which is of no use, means which causes harm to the body, means you don't have value for money. Forget the times when when the money was printed on paper also, it had a backing of gold. You had to have a gold equivalent in the tijori, in the treasury, before you could even print that money. And it's a different story that you had several times over. That is why that value of that money was more. Even that is why $1 was valuing at 65 or $56, because that much gold, it had the backing of that much gold. But then when you started substituting, that time also maybe that was petrodollar. So petrodollars was giving the support, the value for that dollar price, which was accepted, agreed by the world over. So, and so we had a system of where it was functioning. But now when it is cryptocurrency, which is a one crash of that system and it's gone. We don't know the value for its value. And when we are determining a currency of value, currency, what is the backing of that currency for value, for determining the value? Earlier it was gold. Then in business, word is value. Ek shabd diya to, it is honored. Otherwise, it is considered below your dignity. Your honor has gone. In India, in those days, in the Marwadis, they are the business community of the country. They used to have that pagdi, that huge pagdi. They had to be removed. That if they were not able to honor their word, if they didn't honor their word, their pagdi was removed. That means their self-respect was gone. That was the value of money, the value of word. So we need to understand each and everything in its deepest perspective before we come to conclusions on many things. So now in the process, it's already more than half an hour and I have not yet even come into the subject which was referred to in that video. Because I had to give the real how you need to understand, because that whole thing, he was simply trying to say, give us the solution, give us why this person is going through this particular situation, why is he as though we are supposed to speak the mind of God. God has his way of analyzing the karmas, our actions here, and he sees who is right, who is wrong, in which context a person is right, at what time he was right, and to what extent he was right, and to what extent he had to suffer during that time, and then how he had to be extricated from that suffering, so that he is not fully crushed, because he still has some good qualities. He is still worthy enough, and he cannot be destroyed. I mean, he cannot be diminished to that extent. So he gives still opportunities. Now they want me to give a ready-made solution why this has happened. And so that was a process where I got stuck, which I realized that I had to bring out certain things before you, that which had to be revealed from what I had seen in the Puranas. So one point that came to my immediate attention was about Shiva. Like we were talking about Shiva, how he had cut off the fifth head of Brahma, and that head, that skull, he had to use as a begging bowl. Means he had been reduced to that condition of having to beg. Why it happened was, at that time, when at that time he was grief stricken. He was so grief stricken that he couldn't think of anything else. He just was, he carried the dead body of Sati, who had immolated herself in that fire, and Shiva went there and picked up that dead body, that whatever was remaining, and he was devastated holding that in his hand, and Vishnu threw his chakra, and this was going on for several several ages, several years, you can say. For a long, long time, this lamentation was going on. Nobody could draw Shiva out of that grief, and so when all the gods went to Vishnu, and Vishnu, he threw his chakra on that body, which Shiva was holding in the hand, and it split into 64 pieces, and it fell all over India. That is what Shakti places, Shakti stans, where that there are temples of that Sati's body. Her ear fell somewhere, her nose fell somewhere. That body was tattered, splintered, you can say, and fell over in various places, and each of these places had that Shakti in that power of Sati, that Shakti, because Sati was the first incarnation of Shakti separately from earlier. She was in union with Ardhanarishwar in that Rudra, they were united in that one body, and then when she got a separate existence, this was what happened. And so we have Shakti Peeths everywhere, which are known for its own unique powers, and they are worshipped in those places, in different places across the country, across the world, in its own way. That is a different Purana by itself. And why did Sati immolate herself that way? If when she was actually, after such great difficulty, she got separated. She was able to have an individual existence. It so happened that Shiva was narrating the story to Sati. Just like Shiva and conversation between Parvati was going on, before that Shiva and the conversation was going on to with Shiva. Shiva was when Sati was born. Remember yesterday in that story of Chirgari, I told that Shiva's incarnation as Thoniyappan, he had his consort Shri Uma. Now that Shri Uma is actually was the creative aspect. That is why Shiva, though a destructive aspect, when they found these two basic elements of earth and water, because of that creative aspect of Uma, they were able to set right the entire creation. Once again, animate, inanimate, of all the things were re-established. The creation happened once again. That is why that place, that Shiva's role played by Shiva was considered Brahma, and Brahmapurishwar is that temple's name. Now that Uma, when you connect, see, over a period of time when these things happen, these stories are there. And if you would have even gone to Mahabharata, like I told you, Kruta Yuga was deleted and only some portions was carried forward which needed to be included in the subsequent versions of the scriptures that was retained. In fact, even in the Mahabharata, the other day I was listening to Swami Tejomayananda's lecture on Bhagavatam. So in that he begins from Mahabharata. He says this is a part of in Mahabharata it is, or Bhagavatam, I don't know. In the beginning, he says that 65 lakh verses. See, original Mahabharata consists of 1 crore verses. Now it has 1 lakh verses. So the 65 lakh verses was done by some particular rishi in Kruta Yuga. Then another 34 lakh verses was done at some other point of time. And those all are lost. Now what we have is 1 lakh verses, which is what we have right now. So we will discuss that. So that is how he begins. So that was what is the reference to earlier periods of time. So now when we have, so there are references in each work like this. Then when you go to see that role of Sri Uma there, she is the creative aspect. Now when she is acting as a Shakti of Shiva, somewhere along the line she had become the wife of Shiva. So that is why, where even in the 108 names, you will say Uma Maheshwari. Uma Maheshwar. That is, when you say that, that means Uma is a consort of Maheshwara, whereas she was a creative aspect. So when Maheshwara, when it is like, now in this particular case, when during the incarnation, when she was Uma, Shiva was explaining the story. Means just like there is always a sacred conversations. In those sacred conversations, he was narrating the story to Uma when about Rama, about how Rama was exiled and he was wandering, like after when he was after in the forest, living in the forest. Sita was kidnapped by Ravana took Sita away. They didn't know where she went, which direction she went. So Rama is seen lamenting. He's asking the leaves, he's asking the flowers, he's asking the trees, where is my Sita, where is my Sita, where did she go, how? Means he's lamenting at that point of time, and then he reaches the seashore at Rameshwaram, where Sita, where Rama is has made one shivling and he is worshipping before he could cross, because by the time they realized that it was that they had to cross over the ocean because Sita is in Lanka, and they had to, so he wanted the blessings from Shiva, and so he made one shivling there, and he was praying at that time. So when he reached that stage, so when this conversation between Shiva and Uma was going on, he was telling, see how he was crying, and about how he was lamenting about his separation from Sita. So Uma, she said, Uma had one thought in her idea clicked in her mind, and she felt that just before that conversation began, she had asked Shiva. Shiva was meditating, so she asked Shiva, whom are you meditating upon? So Shiva said, I am meditating on Sri Ram, that who is in my heart. So Rama was the deity at that point of time of conversation, where he says, Rama in my heart. So also in Rama used to worship Shiva. So when this Shivling was, when Rama had installed a Shiva and he was worshipping, so he says that we are inseparable like that. That is Rama. He was narrating to Uma that Rama worships me and I worship Rama in my heart. So we are means we belong to each other. That's our relationship. We live in each other's hearts, and so he tells Uma. So Uma gets an idea. Let me test, and so she goes. She comes to the earth, transformed as Sita, and comes in front of Rama. When Rama sees her, imagine the condition of Rama. Rama's Sita was in Lanka, and he was lamenting and he was suffering. And when he sees this Sita, in this personification of Sita in front of him, he immediately recognizes her. Mother, where are you wandering alone? Where is Parameshwara? She was stunned, because for Rama, Uma, that is the consort of Shiva, was like his mother. His mother and father was a position for Rama. And when she assumed the form of Sita, and for Shiva also, Rama was like his father. Means, I mean, that means now when Rama has addressed, see, Uma as mother, then when she goes back, means when she realizes, oh, what mistake she has done, and she immediately disappears from there and goes back to Kailash, and there Shiva seated. Shiva looks at her and says, he understood what mischief she has done and come. Means what had happened, what had actually happened. And then it dawned on him, how can she be my wife? She is my mother. Means for the one who was living in his heart has addressed as his mother, he could not bear, like he could not come to that same mental relationship with her. And mentally, he disconnected her. He detached her from his energy system, you can say, from his antakaran, from his subtle body, from his soul connection. He removed her and he set her aside mentally. So far he has not told anything, but Uma realized it instantly. And then when his behavior started being detached, spending more time in meditation and not reacting to her and everything, then this incident happened where Daksha Prajapati conducted a yajna, and in that yajna, because Shiva had cut the fifth head. Now, Daksha Prajapati is Brahma's son, mind-born son. The 10 Prajapatis were created by Brahma to administer the kingdoms on earth. And so, for Daksha Prajapati, it was his father's head which was cut off. So, he didn't have any respect for Shiva. And so, even though Sati had married, even though now she was Uma, as Uma, when she went back, now there, this in the Shiva Puran, this names both are used interchangeable. As for some period of time, it is used as Sati until she gets married to Shiva, and then it's the conversation happens between Uma and Shiva and Uma. So again, here we must understand it as interpretation over yugas. Several yugas might have passed, and so what is necessary is carried forward, and what is not necessary, or what is. So here Uma is shown. Then when Uma finds that she has been discarded, or she was literally had no connection to Shiva, she decided to immolate herself. And that is how, when Daksha's invitation did not come, and when Narada came and told that the Daksha Prajapati is conducting a yajna, why are you here? You are supposed to be at your father's place. And Shiva, even though he objected not to go, still she was adamant on going, and so he arranged a plane and everything, and with all the security and everything, he allowed her to go. And there when she went and she found that there is no place for there again, in the narration, they don't refer it to as Uma. Again, the narration is taken as Sati. And there it is said that in that reference of that story, it's mentioned that Sati could not bear that Shiva was not given a place and not given that much respect. And so through yoga, Agni, she created Agni within herself and she immolated herself. One reason was that Shiva was not given the self-respect. The second reason was of this Uma. Uma realized that he had discarded her. So when in the cycle of time, the Kruta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, then again the Satya Yuga, Kruta, even in the recalibrated period of time, when we have Satya Yuga, Kruta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, all these major stories keep repeating. Means these incarnations do happen again, but the finer incidents keep changing according to the situation or the time periods. Just like today we don't go to school the way it is, but today we may go to a school which is a building. In those days we had under the trees. So according to the change of time, we will go to a different situation. So the situational or incidental reason may be different, but the thread, that carries that emotional charge is the same. And so it was so that same Uma who had been separated, means discarded, like, I mean, she was detached. Shiva had kept set her aside, and so she could not bear that separation. So she said that it's no use of living this life again, and so she immolated herself. And that was another aspect to that same kind of incidental cause, or the source story. And then she was born as Parvati. In the meanwhile, now, how does Uma and Saraswati get a connection? Uma was the creator aspect. It was not because of this connection with Shiva, of her association, because by that time Brahma was set aside and he had become the grandsire, and so she had to lend her Shakti aspect to Shiva for that creation at that point of time as Shirgari. And so, but she is the Shiva, so she gets connected to the Shiva aspect also. So here the divine feminine it has all the three qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Guna and Tamas. And so when whichever quality is used by the Purusha, the consciousness. So when we say consciousness by itself can do nothing. It is only when it is connected to the Prakriti, the qualities, the energies, the energy body, the prana, then only, and that prana is a connecting link which unites these two aspects of Purusha and Prakriti, that gives rise to the sense of doership, the sense of I, the sense of Atma, the soul, which is Surya's aspect. That Surya, so that is why these individual Ishwaras, though they are separate, they are all connected within our body. So, so when we as human beings on earth, we should have a correct understanding of all this and correct usage or application in our daily life to be able to function ideally, authentically, the realistically. It's not these realistic or authentic and all are not mere words. It has an energy backing for that, energy lending, substratum, that substratum which is there, which is which lends that kind of a presentation, or that kind of which manifests at that situation, needs to be understood. And so it will not come by applying a patch. It's not like a patchwork. It's interconnected, and it's connected over periods of time. And so that is why these Puranas are narrated in a very relaxed manner. In the evenings, when after the days of work is over, in a relaxed mode, these stories are told, so that it registers in a relaxed manner, so that can arise at a time in the chaotic situation when it can become of use, and we can apply it in a way that serves the larger good. Jai Gajanan.